The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is slated to sign the 123 agreement, also known as the Civil Nuclear Cooperation, with the United States during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco, California.
Officials of the House of Representatives are vehemently denying any concrete plans to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte.
The Senate removed over 20 billion pesos from the proposed budget of the Department of Agriculture, or DA, under the House version.
And President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping made significant strides in improving United States-Chinese relations in their recent 4-hour meeting near San Francisco.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, November 16, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am Joselito Liquido.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Marvy Delfin.
First in the news. The Philippines and the United States are poised to strengthen their diplomatic ties as they prepare to sign several agreements, notably including the deal on the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. This significant event is scheduled to take place on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco, California. Nel Maribuhok reports.
The signing of the 123 agreement, or the civil nuclear cooperation between the Philippines and United States, is one of the schedule of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the afternoon of Thursday, November 16, California time. This is during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco, California. The said breakthrough deal, the 123 agreement, establishes legal framework for civil nuclear energy cooperation between the two countries. This agreement allows for the export of various nuclear materials and technologies from the U.S. to the Philippines, including nuclear fuel, reactors, equipment, and special nuclear material. Other agreements are expected to be signed, including in the fields of digital infrastructure and connectivity, renewable energy, electronics manufacturing, health, and tourism. Meanwhile, President Marcos witnessed the signing of 5 major agreements between private sectors and from the Philippines and the U.S. These include agreement to build high-resolution weather forecasting system for the Philippines using artificial intelligence technology. Also, the agreement to conduct of a pre-feasibility study for the potential deployment of micro-modular reactors, which, according to the President, will enforce the sustainable energy agenda.
USNC and Meralco are undertaking a pre-feasibility study on micro-modular reactors, and this partnership is a significant step towards exploring clean and sustainable energy options for the Philippines.
The agreement was also signed for the deployment of the first 2 internet satellites dedicated to the Philippines. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
House officials are emphatically denying any imminent plans to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte. These denials come in response to statements from House Deputy Minority Leader and ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro. According to Representative Castro, there have been discussions regarding the possibility of impeachment, but she clarifies that these talks do not constitute a serious concerted effort to move against the Vice President. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
House Deputy Minority Leader, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro said that the purported talks of impeachment against Vice President Duterte are in fact mere discussions among some congressmen and not a serious move. And for the Makabayan bloc, impeachment talks now are still premature. But House Deputy Majority Leader, ACT-CIS Party List Representative Erwin Tulfo refutes any plan to impeach the Vice President.
Being the Deputy Majority Leader for Communications, and I know that matatanong ang Congress, so I opted to call the leaders, Kong Saldi, hanggang kay Speaker, to ask them what's going on, if there's such a thing. And wala hindi yan natakel, walang pinag-usapan, no such thing na pinag-usapan ng mga party leaders or House leadership.
Congressman Tulfo also believed that the issue on 125 million pesos amount of confidential funds released to the Office of the Vice President in 2022 is not enough reason to file an impeachment complaint. The Makabayan bloc lawmakers wanted the Vice President to explain how she spent her confidential funds. Petitions on the said secret funds have been filed also before the Supreme Court.
It's not enough. Parang hindi, it will not hold water. Hindi siya ganong kalakas na pwede. Siguro baka kung may mga in the future other facts, details, then that will be different, diba? Pero for now kasi wala Kung ano-anong impeachment because of CIF, will that be enough substance?
The House Deputy Majority Leader also denies that lawmakers are uniting against the Duterte family and rallying behind Speaker Martin Romualdez. This after Solos decided to cut the confidential funds of civilian agencies such as the Office of VP Duterte and the Department of Education. The House of Representatives also has nothing to do with the grave threat complaints filed by Representative Castro against the former president.
There's no such thing, ma'am, as unity against the Vice President, unity behind Speaker Romualdez. I believe that there's unity to move this country forward. Di po ba? Yun din po hiling ng Pangulong Marcos, magsama-sama na walang maiiwan. So that's what we are still following right now. And that's what our marching order from the Speaker.
Meanwhile, House Majority Leader Manix Dalipe also said that the alleged plan to file an impeachment complaint against the Vice President are just rumors and baseless. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Chris Remia clarified that he has no involvement in the issuance of subpoena against former President Rodrigo Duterte. Dante Amento tells us why.
The issuance of summons for former President Rodrigo Duterte is part of the normal prosecutorial process. Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Chris Remia clarified he did not give the green light to issue the subpoena.
Hindi mo dumaabot sa akin yung ganyan. Ito ay prosecutorial independence. Yan po ay nasa isip na ng mga gumaganap sa katungkulang yan sa Quezon City. Hindi po sa amin dumadaan yan.
Remia assures that they will not interfere in the preliminary investigation of the grave threats complaint filed by ACT Teachers Representative Franz Castro against Duterte. It is allegedly with the full discretion of the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office that handles the complaint.
Normal na proseso naman yan kahit anong reklamo, pasasagutin ka. Nung ako dinimanda sa ombudsman, sumagot ako.
The Justice Chief explained the complaint may reach his office if there will be a petition for review that arises in the future. The Quezon City Prosecutor's Office issued a subpoena for Duterte yesterday, and it required the former chief executive to appear on December 4 and 11 with his counter affidavits. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The process has commenced in 2 administrative cases against Police Major Alan Decastro, the primary suspect in the disappearance of Miss Grand Philippines 2023 candidate Catherine Camilon. According to Internal Affairs Service Inspector General Attorney Alfigar Triambulo, the first case involves conduct unbecoming of a police officer due to Decastro's alleged involvement in a relationship with another woman despite being married. Triambulo notes that this case is now in summary dismissal proceedings and they intend to conclude the hearings by the end of the month.
doon sa mga impormasyon o mga nakalap na mga ebidensya, medyo mabigat po yung kanyang hinaharap na mga asunto. Kaya posible siya na ma-dismiss sa trabaho kung mapatunayan na itong offense. Kaya nga kami ay nag-charge din ng conduct and becoming kasi yun po yung talagang tinitingnan din namin dahil ang mandato ng IAS ay talagang to champion the integrity of the police service. Pinoprotektahan namin yung imahin ng PNP.
Moving on to the second case, Attorney Triambulo states that it pertains to kidnapping and serious illegal detention concerning Decastro's alleged involvement in the disappearance of beauty queen Catherine Camilon.
Yung sa kidnapping and serious illegal detention, siya po ay binigyan ng notice para mag-file ng kanyang counter affidavit. No? So, at ang time frame namin dyan ay 7 days i-resolve namin ang pre-charge at isasampa na rin namin for summary dismissal proceedings.
This case is currently under pre-charge investigation, allowing Decastro an opportunity to submit his counter affidavit. Attorney Triambulo emphasizes that if found guilty, Decastro could potentially be dismissed from service, losing associated benefits.
Ayon po sa Napolcom Circular na aming sinusundan sa pag-dispose o adjudicate ng administrative case laban sa PNP personnel. Una-una yung mga sa matatanggap mong retirement, forfeited po yon. Ngayon, forfeited na po yung kanyang mga automatic cancellation, yung mga eligibility niya para maging police pa rin siya. At mayroon pang kaakibat na penalty, yung tatawag nating accessory, na dahil napatunayan na siya ay unfit sa public service, siya po ay barred from entering any offices or work ng government.
And for the news abroad, Israeli troops have shown in a video evidence of how the Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza was used by Hamas militants as a command center. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hails his country's forces' entry into the hospital as proof that they can reach the Hamas anywhere in Gaza. Paul Gatchalian will tell us the details live. Yes, Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Marvy. Israeli forces have made Al-Shifa Hospital the target of their raids, firm in their belief that the medical facility serves as headquarters for Hamas militants. They claim that there are tunnels beneath the hospital that serve as headquarters for the beating heart of Hamas fighter operations. After days of clashes, Israel troops finally secured access to the hospital on Wednesday, November 15, 2023, and have shown proof of their allegations and video-recorded messages.
What we have found, I think, is only the tip of the iceberg. Let me show you a few examples. Security cameras have been obstructed. All of the security cameras are covered, and this isn't the only one. You'll see the rest of them here. Follow me as we go in, and we will see the MRI center and see the weapons that Hamas has hidden inside. And if you zoom in and we get some light over here, what you will be able to see is military equipment.
There is an AK-47. This is an information sparked global alarm for the safety of civilians inside the Al-Shifa. They claim of using the hospital for military operation has been vehemently denied by Hamas. It took days of clashes near the hospital before Israeli troops were finally able to enter the hospital. Once inside, the troops did not encounter any more fighting or conflict with civilians. patients or hospital staff. It was also confirmed that incubators, baby food, and medical supplies brought by the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, tanks successfully reached the hospital. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was ecstatic about his forces' entry into the hospital, stating that they have all of Gaza covered in search of Hamas. Meanwhile, calls for extended humanitarian pauses were made by the United Nations Security Council, or UNSC, as well as the immediate and unconditional release of hostages held by Hamas. Qatar is also mediating for a deal that includes a 3-day truce where Hamas will release 50 captives and Israel will free some of its women and minor detainees. Hamas were believed to have agreed to the Qatari negotiations. However, Israel has so far declined calls for a ceasefire as it believes Hamas will benefit from such situation. World Health Organization, or WHO Director Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, on the other hand, considers the Israel incursion into Al-Shifa Hospital as totally unacceptable and emphasized that hospitals are not battlegrounds. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand.
President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping in their recent 4-hour meeting near San Francisco made significant strides in improving United States-Chinese relations. Military communications severed by China after Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan in 2022 will resume. Biden emphasized the importance of direct and clear communication, stating that both leaders can now directly call each other. However, Biden maintained his characterization of Xi as a dictator, a statement likely to cause tension. Notably, the leaders addressed concerns over detained U.S. citizens, human rights, and China's activities in the South China Sea. They agreed to institutionalize military dialogues and to tackle the opioid crisis by curbing fentanyl exports, with China targeting specific chemical companies producing fentanyl precursors. The leaders also discussed artificial intelligence risks and exchanged views on Taiwan. Meanwhile, Xi urged the U.S. to halt weapons shipments to Taiwan and support China's peaceful reunification. Biden also sought China's influence to prevent proxy attacks on U.S. targets by Iran amid the Israel-Hamas conflict. We'll share more global stories with you later.
For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The Senate has removed over 20 billion pesos from the proposed budget of the Department of Agriculture, or DA, under the House version. Senator Cynthia Villar, who defended the budget, noted the realignment made by the House from the Office of the Secretary to the agency's Agribusiness and Marketing Service Division remains unexplainable. Aside from this, the 40 billion peso increase made by the House for the National Irrigation Administration was also removed by the Senate panel.
Parang yung kanina, yung 20 billion na binigay, tapos wala namang explanation kung saan nila dadalhin yung pera. Kaya ni-remove natin and they have to explain.
Meanwhile, the Senate also reduced the proposed budget for the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, under the House version by 714 million pesos. Senator Amy Marcos, who defended the agency's budget, said the reduction was to streamline the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps, by removing those graduated from the program. The fund for the Sustainable Livelihood program was also reduced, as it has already been encompassed by other programs.
The impending transport strike led by the transport group Piston on Monday has prompted the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to make necessary preparations. According to LTFRB, the strike is concentrated solely in Metro Manila, with jeepney drivers from other provinces not participating. The agency anticipates that 8 to 12 routes may be affected by the transport strike, In response, the LTFRB has issued special permits to other jeepney operators on different routes. Local governments in Metro Manila have also committed to providing additional transportation if the vehicles prepared are insufficient to accommodate passengers. Despite the potential disruption, the LTFRB does not recommend the suspension of schools and office activities on Monday. However, they express hope that Piston will reconsider and withdraw the threat of the transport strike.
Una po, kami ay umapila sa Piston na hanggang maaari po ay huwag na po sana nilang ituloy ang kanilang balak na mag-strike dahil unang-una po ito po ay salungat sa kanilang usapan po sa gobyerno na ang prangkisa po ay isang pribilehyo. We are prepared for all eventualities in the event na matuloy po ang strike ng Lunes. Although hanggang ngayon po, optimistic pa rin po ako na tutugunan ni Camo de Floranda yung aking imbitasyon.
In the wake of a tragic shooting incident inside a passenger bus in Nueva Ecija yesterday that claimed 2 lives, a separate investigation will be conducted by the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB. The focus of this inquiry will be to determine whether there was negligence on the part of the bus personnel and whether safety policies for passenger buses were adhered to. The LTFRB will specifically examine 2 key aspects. First, whether the bus followed the correct route when the incident occurred, and second, whether safety policies were effectively implemented on the bus. This investigation seeks to shed light on the circumstances surrounding the incident and evaluate the adherence of bus operators to established safety protocols.
So ang tanong ho namin, pinatupad ba ng bus company yung memorandum circular ng LTFRB sa mga pasahero na sasakay po sa mga ganitong pampublikong sasakyan? If these issues are answered in the affirmative, then wala hong posibleng pananagutan. Pero if of these 2, may isa po na hindi ho nila natupad, posible po sigurong pagpaliwanagin namin sila, and a possible administrative sanction will be imposed upon them pag may hindi po sila natupad.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has declared that even marked government vehicles will face restrictions on EDSA starting Monday, November 20. JP Nunez details why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has committed to strictly enforce protocols on designated vehicles using the EDSA busway. MMDA Acting Chairman Attorney Don Artes announced that effective Monday, November 20, marked government vehicles will be prohibited from using the bus lane.
Doon po sa aming mga kasamahan sa pamahalaan, hindi na po pwede ang clearly marked government vehicles sa bus carousel.
This announcement follows a change in the MMDA stance, as they previously allowed marked government vehicles with red plates to use the bus lane. However, as an exemption, vehicles with protocol plates from 1 to 5 and their convoys will still be permitted to pass through the bus lane. This includes vehicles used by the President, Vice President, Senate President, Speaker of the House, and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Notably, the MMDA clarified that vehicles of senators and congressmen are prohibited from using the bus lane. In a related incident, 2 drivers who mentioned Senator Bong Revilla Jr. appeared at the MMDA office earlier today. They admitted that the senator was not on board their vehicle during apprehension and that the vehicles are not owned by the senator. The drivers were issued violation tickets for illegally using the bus lane and fined 5,000 pesos each as a first offense. The MMDA has taken action in response to a decision by Colonel Bong Nebrija allowing certain vehicles to pass the busway.
O yung isa sa violation ni Colonel Bong, wala naman po tayong definite na policy na nagsasabi na pag may sakay na VIP ay kailangan palagpasin. Consistent naman po tayo sa ating pronouncements at sa ating implementasyon supposedly na outside noong listahan ng DOTR, wala pong other exception.
Nebriha has been placed into preventive suspension while the agency conducts an investigation into the matter. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The group of sardine manufacturers is making a noteworthy commitment. Despite the ongoing implementation of a closed fishing season in major fishing grounds across the country, these manufacturers have announced that they will not increase the prices of their products for the remainder of the year. Ray Palayo will tell us why.
Starting November 15, commercial fishing vessels are prohibited from roaming the Visayan Sea and Zamboanga Peninsula. These proactive measures is part of the 3-month closed fishing season aimed at allowing the repopulation of sardines and other fish in these crucial marine areas.
Yung sardinas ay pagkain din na ng mga malalaking isda like tuna. So habang nagpapatupad tayo ng conservation sa sardines, ay nagkakaroon din tayo ng conservation measure para mas maparami natin yung malalaking species like tuna.
The Canned Sardines Association of the Philippines has indicated that sardine manufacturers have stocked up for a 2-month period, expressing concern about the potential impact of climate change on their catch. However, despite this challenge, the group's executive director Francisco Bencamino assures consumers that there will be no price increase of canned sardines until the end of the year.
Hindi nga kami pinapayagang magtaas eh. So, hindi ko sinasabing magtataas. Pero after the New Year, baka hindi na namin kayanin na hindi magtaas.
Bencamino highlights the rising cost of fishing, particularly in the face of increased fuel prices, affecting the industry's bottom line.
Ang aming main cost of increase in prices would be the cost of fish. And cost of fish is determined by the cost of fuel to catch them. Eh ngayon, kung bababa ng tuluyan yan, hindi kailangan magtaas.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, seeks to alleviate public concerns, assuring an ample fish supply during the closed fishing season. In a bid to further stabilize market prices, the government has given the green light to the importation of 35,000 metric tons of fish. Ray Palayo, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other global news, in a dire situation unfolding in Haiti, over 100 people have sought refuge in a hospital, escaping the escalating gang violence in Port-au-Prince. Concerns have heightened following the death of gang leader Iscar Andres, leading to a continued surge in violence in the area. Since the assassination of former Haitian President Jovenel Moïse in 2021, gangs have gained control over Port-au-Prince. The latest report from the United Nations indicates that thousands of Haitians have had to evacuate their homes, with a staggering 2,400 lives lost.
The numbers here are staggering. There are already 200,000 IDPs in Port-au-Prince. Just in the past few weeks, we've had at least 40,000 more. Haiti is already one of the most severe food crises worldwide, with 1.4 million people on the doorstep of famine.
In response to the crisis, Kenya has pledged to send 1,000 police officers to assist local authorities in restoring order in the country. Currently, an estimated 200 gangs operate in Haiti, controlling 80% of Port-au-Prince, the capital city.
And in other news abroad, the International Atomic Energy, or IAEA, have unveiled that Iran has amassed a significant quantity of uranium enriched to 60% purity. edging closer to the threshold for weapons-grade material. The accumulation is estimated to be adequate for the development of 3 potential atom bombs, aligning with the criteria outlined by the agency. Ruth Bahet tells us why.
The disclosure comes amidst continued reluctance from Iran to comply with the IAEA's demands for cooperation on critical matters, posing a challenge for both the agency and the Western nations, advocating for a change in Iran's stance. Iran's current stockpile of uranium enriched to 60% has soared to 128.3 kilograms, exceeding more than 3 times the amount theoretically necessary for nuclear bomb production as defined by the IAEA. Despite assertions by Iranian officials that their enrichment pursuits are not intended for nuclear weapons, these actions have sparked concerns and drawn attention from the international community. Meanwhile, Iran has slowed down the rate of enriching uranium to 60%, possibly due to the indirect negotiations with the United States, leading to a prisoner exchange. Tensions between Iran and the IAEA have persisted as the agency's request for cooperation on issues regarding undisclosed sites, reinstatement of monitoring equipment, and designation of experienced inspectors by Iran have seen minimal progress, further complicating the situation. However, despite the unresolved issues, the upcoming meeting of the IAEA board is unlikely to impose substantial consequences on Iran. Ruth Bahe, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In a dazzling display not confined to swimwear and evening gowns, Miss Universe Philippines Michelle Marquez D showcased her prowess in the prestigious 72nd Miss Universe pageant earlier. She made waves by securing a spot in the top 10 silver finalists for the Voice for the Change advocacy video competition. In her entry video, Michelle D delved into her advocacy regarding the significance of accepting individuals with autism, emphasizing autism acceptance, inclusivity, and empowerment. The Filipino community, including VE in El Salvador, rallied behind the Philippines representative, Michelle D.
The message that I can give to MMD or Michelle D. Marquez, just be yourself, be confidently beautiful with a heart, and we are all behind you, supporting you to this journey, and we are so proud of you.
Meanwhile, aside from Miss Universe Philippines, another standout in the pageant was Miss Universe Pakistan. This marks the first ever participation of Pakistan in the esteemed beauty pageant. During the swimsuit competition, 24-year-old Pakistani model Erica Robin gracefully showcased her blush-colored burkini. This edition of Miss Universe also marks the first-time inclusion of plus-size candidates, such as 22-year-old plus-size model Jane Deepika Garrett from Nepal. Tomorrow, the contestants will grace the national costume competition, adding a vibrant cultural touch to the event. The much-anticipated coronation night, where the next Miss Universe 2023 will be crowned, is set for Sunday. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe.
Our kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 18 to 19, it says, "He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander, is a fool. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise." And those are the reasons behind the news November 16, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Marvy Delfin, live from Australia.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.